No, it's me! The one!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops. And wow. Round one. What did we just witness? Some close games, some thrilling games, some heroes, some villains. Lockie Keefe won the game for the Giants with a minute to go. It wasn't his day, but he standed up and delivered in the most opportune time for the Giants to get the victory over Melbourne. Brisbane and Sydney both had their chances late, but Brisbane just held on after a dominant third quarter, which probably set up their close victory, as Sydney had them in the first half. What happened to the four sides that got smashed? St Kilda, Freo, West Coast, and Port Adelaide back to the drawing board, and all four sides should be very pissed off with how they went. If any of those four sides fans are content with how they've fared, well, then you are just delusional. As for Richmond and Carlton fans should be more embarrassed than St Kilda, Fremantle, Port Adelaide, and West Coast on the weekend. All those four sides got smashed, but Carlton just lost to a side that plenty of people said would not win a game this year and probably have the worst list of the last 15 years, and probably only 6 players that would get a game anywhere else in any other list, even North Melbourne of all clubs. And Carlton had a 41-point lead and choked it, and then had debutants just beat them. Paddy Cripps cannot do this on his own every single week. They missed Charlie Curnow, but it had nothing to do with the forward line. It was all the midfielders' fault and the defenders. Jacob Wiedering had a good game, but Carlton fans, look, they're calling for Michael Voss's head. This is what I'll say to that. Stop blaming the coach. How about you finally blame the effort of the players on the field that actually lost to a team there's a bunch of under 21-year-old players. So that's on the players for dishing up that crap performance. They should be swinging the axe. It's not Michael Voss's fault. Carlton will not be playing finals in season 2025 if they dish up crap efforts like that yet again. This is their one and only chance. I know a lot of people aren't giving them any chance, but if they dish up that against any opposition, see, dishing up a 41-point lead is one thing in a half a game of footy, but then to do it to Richmond of all teams, who should not have even come close. They should have lost by 50 points, even more the way that game was going. But that's just outright embarrassing. But anyway, I'll get to that a little bit more in detail, even though I just kind of did it there in just a second. But yeah, congratulations to Richmond. Collingwood, people wrote them off, and I told you all, you'll be delusional if you're saying that Collingwood will not make the 8. People were saying to me last week, you're an idiot for having them first on your ladder prediction. And last time I checked, no one gets their ladder predictions all correct. I was confident that Collingwood would bounce back, and even then I was getting told they're not even going to make the 8. They're going to finish bottom 4. They're going to win the wooden spoon. The chat was just ridiculous. And they proved all the haters wrong, the Pies, and they just slaughtered the Port Adelaide Football Club by 91 points. Yes, 91 points, the biggest loss of the round, which is unbelievable. And Port Adelaide fans are absolutely embarrassed from that. It's not Ken Hinckley's fault. It is the players' fault for that crap performance that they dished out. Now, we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone a happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. Now, also on the show this evening, we will be going through my returning segment, the team of the week, the heavily debated team of the week. Everyone's always going, how many Saints players are you going to have? Are you going to have any this week? Well, you have to wait and find out. A very good team of the week, I feel. I'm going to go through Scoops Goes Bang. We're going to talk about the 3 players that were suspended. All those 3 are appealing it, as they should. I've done my Brownlow votes. You won't be seeing it until the end of the season, between the bye round and week 1 of the AFL final series, just like I've done the previous year or so. I'll go through my Supercoach talk, and I'll reveal my Supercoach score, my team as well. And obviously, we'll review the rounds just gone and upcoming. Alrighty. It is time for the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Well, where do I start? All right, where do I begin? Tom Lynch got suspended for being pushed by Jacob Wiedering into his opponent. Now, this one of the three is probably the one I will understand the most. Tom Lynch does have a bad record, but Jacob Wiedering shoved Tom Lynch into the Carlton player. Now, could Tom Lynch have done something different in terms of the action he went into the footy? Maybe a little bit, but what? Did you want him just to get hit in the face because Wiedering shoved him into the Carlton player? I mean, it's a bit harsh. Tom Lynch has been known to get suspended a lot and probably deserves a lot of his suspensions, but this one is a bit harsh, I feel, and should be nothing, not even fined, because Wiedering pushed him. Like, what was he meant to do? If Wiedering didn't push him, that wouldn't have happened. So I think that deserved 0 weeks for Tom Lynch, and I'm sure it'll get let off at the tribunal. I think it'll be tomorrow night, maybe Wednesday night with 3 appeals. As for the next one, Justin McInerney getting 3 weeks for what exactly on Brandon Starcevic? No one wants to see a player get hurt, which will be the next incident that I talk about. But, like, what could he have done, Justin McInerney? He just bumped the player normal. It wasn't a dog shot. It wasn't behind the ball. It was nothing. It was just in the contest, and unfortunately Starcevic got hurt from it. But, what was Justin McInerney meant to do? They're appealing that as well. And how that was given 3 weeks is absolutely ridiculous. 1 week for Lynch, I kind of understood a little bit, but still ridiculous. But this one and the next one is just outright outrageous. That is just ridiculous. How can you get 3 weeks for that? This game has gone mad. The AFL have gone completely soft with these decisions. They're just handing suspensions like it's nothing now. People say the game is dead with the bump and everything like that. Incidents like this deserve nothing. So Justin McInerney should be let off at the tribunal tomorrow night or Wednesday night. Now, the most controversial one of the whole lot is the Jackson Archer, Luke Cleary incident. Now, obviously, Luke Cleary had a bad concussion, maybe a sore neck as well. First of all, I want to point out we wish Luke Cleary all the best, and hopefully he's all good and well. But put that to the side for just a second for this argument, for the suspension side of things for Jackson Archer. What the hell was Jackson Archer meant to do? I mean, he got his legs taken out. It was unfortunate what happened to Luke Cleary, but how's he getting suspended? He got his legs taken out. Now, the one thing I thought about this, watching it back, was Jackson Archer probably shouldn't have gone for the ball because in the way he did, because he was just going too fast and he wasn't going to collect the ball anyway. But the rule is he got his legs taken out, and unfortunately Cleary got cleaned up in the process. But Luke Cleary also went in dangerously as well. So, I mean, why is Archer getting suspended? Is it because Cleary got knocked down and Archer didn't? Archer could have broke his leg or done an ACL or something out of that. So I don't see how he's getting suspended for it when there was nothing else he could do except for pull out of the contest and be called all these things by the North fans, getting called soft or whatever for not going for the ball. But he almost broke his leg in the process, or almost done his ACL, and now he's getting punished by the AFL, getting suspended for 3 weeks for what? For playing football? It's laughable how you're getting suspended for anything these days. Do you remember this? Remember this incident, all right? Liam Stocker got his legs taken out by Paddy Dangerfield. Dangerfield got a free from it last year, round 1 of 2024 against the Saints at GMHB. I remember because I was there. And that was ridiculous and cost us the game, pretty much, that decision late in the game in the fourth quarter. This reminds me of that, except no one got cleaned up. And there was no suspension. Sure, it's Paddy Dangerfield. That's probably why he never got suspended. He's one of the most protected players in the competition now that currently plays. But it's a similar incident. The only difference is no one got knocked out. Dangerfield took out Liam Stocker's legs, and he got a free. Jackson Archer got his legs taken out, and he didn't get a free. The Western Bulldogs got a free. It's like, that was Dangerfield in Archer's position. There'd be no suspension, and this wouldn't even be talked about for suspensions. But because it's not Patrick Dangerfield or someone the AFL like, they're going to set the example. And what example are they setting? That the game has gone soft. That deserves nothing. absolutely nothing. We wish Luke Cleary all the best, but that deserves absolutely nothing. And I know I'm not the only one saying that because I've seen a lot of people online and on the TV shows say the same damn thing. So hopefully Jackson Archer, Justin McInerney definitely get off. And if Tom Lynch doesn't get off, that will also be a joke. So hopefully he gets off, as well as Wiedering forced that to happen to the Carlton player by pushing Lynch into him. So the Tribunal have always been a joke, so have the AFL. But if they want to start this season better with Tribunal calls, all three should have 0 weeks. And if one of them doesn't get off, they just prove my point of how soft this game has become. But he's saying that Tribunal and the AFL are two separate people. But trust me, you all know that the AFL still have an input somehow in Tribunal calls, and when it goes to the appeals board and all things like that. That's why Paddy Cripps got off. Remember that? They want a Brownlow from it. Yeah, don't tell me the AFL don't have their say in Tribunal calls still, although they say they don't, but they do. Now, I hope you guys and girls all enjoyed that edition of the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Now, also, if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any State League players and you'd like to see them on the podcast in a Gold King Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message on Instagram, AFL Info Live, and we'll try and get something sorted. Have over 4,500 followers on Instagram, which is great to see. All right. Now, I know you've all been waiting for this segment for about 6 to 9 months. It's the return of the Scoops AFL Round 1 Team of the Week. Now, I'll put the graphic on the screen and explain my selections like normal after I've read them out. From the back line, the pockets, Bailey Dale and Carl Amon. Full back, Ben Miller. Half back line, the flankers, Lockie Whitfield and Dan Houston. Centre half back, Harry Himmelberg. Wingers, Bailey Smith and Jai Caldwell. Centreman, Tom Green. Half forward line, the flankers, Timmy Membry and Toby Green. Centre half forward, Nick Larkey. Forward pockets, Dan McStay and Zach Bailey. Full forward, all hail the King, Ben King. Ruck, Jared Witts. Rovers, Jack McRae and Noah Anderson. Interchange, James Jordan, Matt Rao, Finn Callahan, Jack Ross and Ben Long. The emergencies, Ed Richards, Connor Rosie, Jager O'Meara, Jai Simpkin and Tom DeConing. Now, I know you're all listening right now and going, reasons. Well, let me talk to you. Yeet. Acknowledge me, the one. For round 1, this is Scoops' team. Bailey Dowell, 2 goals, 29 disposals off the half-back line. Deserves a spot. Carl Amon, I know he pushes up the ground a little bit as well. We did have 5 kick-ins, so Carl Amon deserves a spot in the team. And, I mean, there was nowhere else to put him, so I had to put him there. Lockie Whitfield, his drive off the wing and half-back is enormous. Over 30 disposals is a lock. Harry Himmelberg, 22 disposals, like 12 1%ers. About 70-odd% efficiency, which is pretty good in the wet at the MCG yesterday. Dan Houston, against his old side for the first time in his first game for the Pies, he was bloody awesome. Around 30-odd disposals off the halfback line and wing. He was absolutely phenomenal. Bailey Smith kicked a goal. About 32 disposals, terrific for Geelong in his Geelong AFL debut. Obviously, former Bulldogs player and back from an ACL injury as well. Tom Green, 35 disposals, where he left off the most recent Scoops medal winner. He was absolutely phenomenal. 35 disposals, kicked a goal, an important goal late in the game, and a lot of clearances and tackles, and that's what Tom Green is fantastic at. Jai Caldwell, 36 possessions, was the best on the ground for the Bombers easily and potentially on the ground. The half-forward line, Timmy Membry. Tim Membry got shit on by a lot of people last week, and I stuck fat with Timmy Membry with my bold call. 40-plus goals for Timmy Membry this year and kicked 4 on the weekend with 17 disposals and 10 marks. 3 goals in the first quarter. On Alia, which is a very good defender, is Alia. And Timmy Membry took him for 3 goals in the first quarter. Larkey, 5 goals. Don't even need to say anything else. Toby Green, 3 goals, 23 disposals, and kicked a late goal to win the Giants a game before Lockie Keefe did and Tom Green did. So he was phenomenal and huge in our last quarter of 11 disposals and a goal. Dan McStay, 3 goals, 20 disposals, like 10 marks, 12 hit-outs as the backup ruck to Darcy Cameron. He was phenomenal, Dan McStay. Ben King kicked 6 goals with like 7 marks, 4 contested marks. He's a star, just like his brother, Max King. He'll be back hopefully this week for the Saints. Zach Bailey kicked 4 goals with 17 disposals as a lock. Jared Witt, 63-odd hit-outs, about 45 more hit-outs than the West Coast rucks. And then you had the second ruck in the ruck for the Suns as well. So phenomenal for Jared Witts. Wittsy now no longer the captain of the Suns. That's gone to Noah Anderson. And that is one of the next guys in my midfield. Noah Anderson, 36 disposals. I'm pretty sure got a goal as well off the top of my head. Had so many score involvements and clearances and meters gained in the service on the side. Jack McRae, 34 disposals in game 250, was an absolute star. 23 contested possessions, 12 clearances, like 8 inside 50s, high meters gained as well. Jack McRae is a star and the inaugural Scoops medal winner. The interchange, James Jordan, absolutely dominated on Lockie Neal, who didn't even get over 10 disposals. I would know he was in my bloody Supercoach team. James Jordan did a great job on Lockie Neal, a Brownlow medal winner, a 2-time Brownlow medal winner, in fact. Finn Callahan was awesome with the Giants and single-handedly won on the game of his act that led to the Lockie Keefe goal on Jack Henderson, and he dominated. As always, Jack Ross for Richmond, 28 disposals, 2 goals, was one of the key reasons why the Tigers came back from 41 points down and got the win. And for Gold Coast, Ben Long, 4 goals, as a small pressure forward, medium-sized forward, did pretty well, especially in the second half. He was one of the next forwards to earn a spot. As for the emergencies, Ed Richards, I know he kicked a goal and had 30, had 4 goal assists, and like 12 score involvements. It was really harsh. It was between him and Matt Rowell for me. I went through their stats and I watched both games really well. So I just went Matt Rowell. It was real line ball. I was going to put Richards, but then I thought, well, Ross and Callahan deserve to be in there. So it was very harsh, I know, but I've gone Matt Rowell. Connor Rosie was the next midfielder after Richards. Jago O'Meara was really good with 31 disposals. Connor Rosie had about 600 metres gains. For a side that got smashed, he was still terrific with 35 disposals. Jai Simpkin, a goal and 31. He was really good for the Roos. And Tom DeConning was the next best ruck. Although Toby Nankervis did well, they both had great numbers in the 20 disposal range, in particular Tom DeConning. But I went Witsy as he single-handedly destroyed the Eagles in the ruck. Like 63 hit-outs on his own, and the Eagles' rucks combined probably had about 15, which is embarrassing. So, well done to Witsy. So that's my team of the week for round 1. Comment down below what you think of it. I think it's a fantastic side and all the warranted a spot. But I'm sure there'll be some people debating some players. And, don't just say who shouldn't be in it. How about you say who should be in and why, and then maybe I might let you explain why you think that and hear you out. Otherwise, make your own team and be quiet. Okay. Now, let's go through my Supercoach talk, but I'm going to be revealing my Supercoach team for season 2025 for right now, of course. Now, as you'll see on the screen, I've made a few sub moves, but this was my team going into round 1. So from the back line, I had Harry Sheasel, Jack Sinclair, Jordan Clark, Bo Allen, Ben Patton, Zach Reed, and the bench, James Leake and Luke Traynor. I had Bo Allen as a loophole. I didn't get Ben Patton's 43. I got James Leake's 13 points. Luke Traynor, I got his 50 as I did the loophole. Had the vice captain on Paddy Cripps, who got 120, which means going to my midfielders, Dacos, Paddy Cripps, Sarong, and Neil. That's N. Dacos, of course. Clayton Oliver, when he was my 5th midfielder, and my 3 rookies on the field for round 1 were Elijah Sardis, Mitch Nevitt, and Murphy Reed. I do have Levi Ashcroft, and he will be on the field, but I didn't have a rookie to swap to put Ashcroft back on the field. I wouldn't be taking a premium off for any rookie at all, no matter if it's Levi Ashcroft or not. On the bench, you got Elijah Hewitt, along with Levi Ashcroft for the game on the weekend, but Murphy Reed and Lucas Camprielli. So let me put those names on the screen for you all. Just make sure I put the right graphic up. So, yep, there you go. You can see it on the screen there. For people on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, I'm reading it out for you all for a reason. Right. You can pause it if you wanted there. And my rucks are Tristan Cherry and Rowan Marshall. Ruck bench is Harry Boyd. I went Marshall because I feel like not many people were. I knew Harry Boyd would play, but that was, I was still thinking Marshall would do the majority of the ruck, and Boyd would play probably 40% in the ruck, but it was about 95% Harry Boyd in the ruck, which is making me question the move. Rowan Marshall has come back from an injury, so maybe they're easing it into him to play more forward while Max King's out and Sharman. Max King should be back this week, so Marshall may come in the side. Butler and Owens potentially be back in as well for the Saints, so whether Harry Boyd stays on the side, we'll have to wait and see. Even with those guys coming back in, I feel like then Marshall would play more permanent ruck and Boyd would play the second ruck and play a bit of forward line with King and Owens and Caminiti potentially as well. The forward line, I got Jack McRae, Liam Baker, Bailey Smith, Caleb Daniel, Isaac Kako, Sam Davison, Connor Stone and Josh Dolan on the bench, and Nathan O'Driscoll as my flex player. Really happy with how Nathan O'Driscoll went. Normally, I don't like selecting players that, at that 200K range, unless I'm really confident in them. I had a lot of injuries to I've got 200K remaining, by the way, or just over 201K something thousand, right? So I want to spend that money early. We got 40 trades this year, but I don't want to waste them. I had players like Jagger Smith, Josh Smiley, in the preseason. I plan to stick with those players. And I had Finn O'Sullivan at one point. But then, you start downgrading these players to, guys like Boxall and Sam Davison, Connor Stone, Josh Dolan, and that, you're gaining like 50K each player you're dropping. Then there were some premium players who had injured, like Trelaw and Tom Green at the time. So, like, I'm bringing in someone like Cripps and that, and they're like 40K cheaper, 50K cheaper. So I'm gaining more and more money. Then, I was confident with the defenders I chose. Probably feel like I may be a defender short, as there are a lot of elite, high-priced defenders, even maybe potentially at the 500K range. I didn't go with Max Hall, as I thought he could have been the sub. And plus, I had other players in his position like Murphy Reed. Elijah Hewitt was named, so I was definitely keeping him then. And Cambrielli, everyone was getting. So his job security is a question. Lucas Cambrielli did all right. Carlton did lose. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So my team is on the screen for you all. Any Supercoach questions you want to have to me, please comment down below or message me on Instagram, AFL Info Live, or join any of my videos that I do here on YouTube in the comment section down below. So I did score 2012, top 46% for the round, which isn't ideal for me, but hey, it is what it is. And you got 40 trades this year, as I said just before. So don't waste your trades. Don't burn trades after one game, for God's sake. And don't bring players in off one game unless necessary, unless you've got an injury or suspension and stuff like that. If someone's got a 1 week injury or suspension, do not get rid of them, for God's sake. Like, if you're thinking of getting rid of Tom Lynch, like, don't get rid of Tom Lynch if you got him just because he got a 1 week suspension. Even if he does get a week, it's top 18 this week. It's Gold Coast and GWS have to buy. So it's top 18 in Supercoach this week. So you don't have to worry about it. Just make sure you structure well and not burn your trades. But if you've got a plan in place, make sure you execute that damn plan. Because if you stuff up early, you're probably screwed for the rest of the season. So you need to nail it now. Be conservative, but if you're going to go hard at your trades, you've got to bloody nail them. Like, I see some people are looking at players like Lindsay and Max Hall and everything like that, and they may be good options. And people are trying to get rid of Dacos. It's like, just cool your jets. If you're going to keep him for the whole year anyway, does it really matter if his price is going to drop a little bit? If you're keeping him, why does it matter? I see people who are, trying to bring in all these players that don't have a buy. Like, you're 12 weeks away. Just don't get too many of the same club that are in their buy potentially. But if they're going to value your team for the next 12 weeks at least, bloody get them. And don't always pick the same as everyone else, but also don't pick stupid players in your team. Like, not stupid players, stupid Supercoach selection players. Like, you don't get key position players, key forwards and everything like that. There's a few exceptions, but you don't get players like that. And do not get players that aren't getting games, for God's sake, on your field. I've seen so many people do that. It just makes me roll my eyes back. Like, just pick properly, do your team well, and you should go all right. So, by the way, too, people say I'm not good at Supercoach, yet I won the weekly prize 2 years ago in round 5 or something and won $2,000 from it. But, I do know what I'm talking about. I generally finish in the top 10% every year for the last 6 years, except for last year, which was a big disappointment for me. But one of my mates who I've helped with his team, he's now he scored like just under 2,200. So he's in the top probably 5% for the round so far, and he's pretty pleased with that. Now, my Supercoach League, I'm going to put my team up on the screen here just for a second so I can get my Supercoach League up for everyone listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I know that the person on top in my Scoops Fan Club League, if you want to join my Scoops Fan Club League, we've got 144 people as we speak in here. The code is 300-210, 300-210. I'm going to put that on the screen right now. So pause it if you want to save that, league code. Join that. I would greatly appreciate it. We got Ben, which is Chicken Burger, on top on 2,334. We got Matthew TBC on 2,248. In third place, we got Shane Ower from the live streams. He's in third place, scored 2,235. We got Josh, which is the Crushers, 2,230 in fourth place. And in fifth place, we have Justin, which is Crazy. That's part of his username. I'm not reading all that out. Justin for 2,207. And for people that some of you may know, we have Kev's Magpies in 16th place on 2,176. Well done, Kev. You're in 16th place, my friend. Congratulations to Kev, and he'll be up and about for that for sure. Absolutely. So 300-210, 300-210. My AFL Supercoach Scoops Fan Club League. If you finish in the top 5, you'll get a shout out on here. And some weeks I'll read out the top 3, top 5, maybe just the one on top. That'll change over weeks. But if you want to get a free shout out, actually do well and you'll get a shout out. It's just plain and simple. That's not an insult. That's just a fact of life. Yeah. Yeet. Acknowledge me. The one. Now, all right. Supercoach done. Team of the week done. The news done. The suspension's done. So let's go review and preview the rounds just gone and upcoming. So, obviously it started on Thursday night at the MCG. Richmond 82, Carlton 69. Well, credit to them, Richmond. They were phenomenal after half time. 41 points down. You could understand if they caved in and just lost by 80 points or something. But the never say die attitude from the Tigers, they had nothing to lose. Carlton had everything to lose. They had the lead. They had everyone saying that Richmond weren't going to win a game. So all the pressure was on Carlton somehow, going in to face Richmond of all teams who weren't going to win a game this year, a lot of people said. Now, I did say the same thing, that could happen, but a lot of people were really adamant. I thought they might win 1 or 2 max, but they've already won 1. So maybe we're all going to be wrong. But everyone that's saying now off 1 win that they're going to make the 8 and they're going to win like 8, 10 games, just cool the jets. They might win 6 max if you're lucky. If they play like they did against Carlton in the first half, they won't win a game all year. If they play like they did in the second half, they'll win plenty more games this year. If they play how we expect them to win, they'll probably win 2 more max this year. But credit to Richmond, they were terrific. Sam Laylor has got the Rising Star nominee for the round, so well done to him. But he did have 4 metres gained in the first half when he had 11 disposals, but had better impact in the second half. I will say that. Xavier Lindsay did not get the Rising Star nomination. I know some Melbourne fans that won't like that. I thought that there was another player that had, Levi Ashcroft had 25 disposals. He should have got it, but here we are. And there might have been another player that did pretty well. That was in calculations for a Rising Star nomination. Max Hall could have been in that conversation, but he's 22, so you have to be 21 or under to be nominated for the Rising Star. Otherwise, Max Hall would have got that. And you have to play under 10 games or something as well. But yeah, credit to Richmond. Jack Ross was terrific. Ben Miller was really good. For Carlton, I mean, Paddy Cripps was serviceable, and so was Tom De Koning. But the team should be embarrassed, and there should be about 8 changes this week. And hopefully Michael Voss swings the axe. Sure, he has to get blamed for some of that, but the players are the one that choked the 41-point lead, not the coach. I see Carlton fans crying, saying they're cutting up their membership and all shit like that. Well, they're the definition of fake fans if I haven't seen them. You know, St Kilda got embarrassed this week. Sure, we have a lot of players out. And sure, we didn't lose to Richmond like Carlton did. But, like, you stay thick and stay through the hard times, the good times, the high times, the low times. Don't be a fake fan. I do not like fake fans. If you were someone cutting up your membership or saying you're never going to a game again because of that, if I was a Carlton supporter, I would say, good, piss off and don't come back. Don't come back when we win 10 in a row or when we win our flag in a few years, so they hope. But, you know, don't come back. You say that, I wouldn't want you back supporting the same team if you're a fake fan. So for Carlton, to the fake fans that are saying they had enough, great, don't go back. They don't want you. I'm sure they don't. You got to be there through the hard times and the low times, and the good times as well, of course. Don't just stay through the good times. You've got to be there through the hard times as well. Friday night game was Hawthorn and Essendon, 111 Hawthorn, Essendon 85, Hawthorn by 26. Essendon had their opportunities to win this game. They didn't capitalise. Hawthorn, sure, they were good because they won, but Essendon were competitive the whole game. Jai Caldwell was terrific. For Hawthorn, Watson did his part. Carl Amon, fantastic yet again. The next game to go through was on Saturday. It was Sydney and Brisbane. I don't know what's going on here. Sydney and Brisbane. It was a 4-point victory to the Brisbane Lions. You know, I don't know what happened there. I had it here. I don't know where it went. But yeah, so credit to the Brisbane Lions. It was a great game. 6 goals in the third quarter to 2. I think it was like 6-3 to 2-1 or something, or 2-3. That's where they got back into the contest. Sydney were really good in the first half, but Zach Bailey did really well with 4 goals. I thought Darcy Ford played all right as the second ruck, playing up forward as well. You know, I thought Darcy Wilmot played his part for the Brisbane Lions as well. If the half-back line had 25 disposals. But yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, great close victory for the Brisbane Lions. Geelong and Fremantle. What the hell was that, Freo? Losing by over 80 points, just outright embarrassing. And this is one of 4 embarrassing losses for the round, actually 5. And this was number 2. Carlton first, and then this one. I don't care how good you think Geelong are. I don't care that you had Hayden Young out and Shai Bolton out. Shai Bolton hasn't even played a game for the club yet. So really, is he out when he hasn't played a game for the club? I mean, I guess you can say that. But still, you know, he hasn't played with them before in an official game. But sure, if you want to count him, okay. So you got Hayden Young and him out. But that's it. That doesn't excuse how shit the defenders were, because both those players play midfield forward for Bolton, midfield for Hayden Young now. So sure, Andy Brayshaw was there. Caleb Sarong was playing forward. So that's more of a coaching issue there. Jeremy Sharp wasn't to be seen. Switzkowski went off, Inter being subbed off. Now, Murphy Reid kicked 4 goals in 8 minutes in the third quarter, and they were down by 21 points at 3-quarter time. It's like 10 goals to 1 or 10 goals to 0 in the last quarter, Geelong's way. That is completely unacceptable from Fremantle, from Justin Longmuir and the players. You don't blame the coach entirely for that. That's mainly on the players because they're the ones on the field. All Fremantle players should not be paid for this game. They were absolutely crap. That was embarrassing. And every club that went bad this week are trying to top the other club that went bad. Carlton, crap. Freo, disgraceful. What the hell was that? Like, that was just outright embarrassing. Now, the Western Bulldogs and North Melbourne game, I thought, you know, it was credit to North Melbourne for sticking at it. I know Bulldogs have some players there like Treloar, Waitman, Hugo Hagan, and Bontempelli. But, you know, North aren't good. So that kind of evens that out, I guess. So North had the best chance to beat the Bulldogs, and they didn't. Zurha may have kicked 1 goal 4 with 20 disposals, but an incident I don't like, and Zurha is known to be a hog. He hogs the ball a lot, okay? And what I did not like from Cam Zurha on the weekend is Larky's busted his ass off. He's kicked 5. This was very late in the game. It was the last 5 minutes, I believe. And, he's running full tilt, got away from his opponent, did Larky, and ran straight for the ball. He would have marked it. And here's Cam Zurha coming from the side for the cheap mark and almost knocked out Larky in the process by trying to be a hero and have another shot on goal that he didn't deserve. And then he got what he deserved by shanking it out in the full from 35 metres out on a slight angle on the right-hand side. Cam Zurha has done that multiple times. I've seen that plenty of times. I normally let it slide, but I thought I'd say that. Cam Zurha needs to get that part out of his game. He's shown he can play, I guess, but that was just completely unacceptable. I did not like that. And I'm sure there was more people at North that did not like that either. And no apology, nothing. He just basically shrugged him off, said piss off, basically, in a way, because he just almost cleaned Larky up, for God's sake, and wanted a cheap shot at goal and rack up his stats and make his stats look better. And then, he shanked it out in the full. So his efficiency went low for that. So kind of got what he deserved, I guess. That's what he needs to get out of his game. But, it was pretty good from North Melbourne's effort. Sherry and Sheasel played really well. Tom Powell played his part as well. Larky, as I said, he kicked 5 goals. The Bulldogs, Liberatore, Ed Richards was awesome. 4 goal assists, 12 scoring involvements, a goal and 30 disposals for Ed Richards. Bailey Dale, 2 goals and 29 disposals was really good as well. And as we said, with that sickening clash with Archer and Cleary, wish them both all the best. In particular, Luke Cleary, as he unfortunately got concussed from that. So hopefully he is all good. He's listed as concussion, obviously. So we wish Luke Cleary all the best. Now, we had Collingwood 136, Port Adelaide 45. Collingwood by 91 points. I just said Carlton was shit. Freo were a disgrace. And Port Adelaide were just outright garbage. No one from the Port Adelaide Football Club, like the Freo players, or the Carlton players for that matter, deserved to be paid this week. What kind of shit was that? That was Darcy Byrne-Jones' 200th game, and that is probably the worst game Port Adelaide have ever played for 10 years. And, I hate the narrative of get Ken Hinkley out now. The players are the ones that dish up that shit performance, not the coach. Port Adelaide fans are hypocritical. I saw the crap out the front of Alberton saying get rid of Ken. Maybe think about this, okay? How come when Port Adelaide win last year and now it's Josh Carr is why they win? But when they lose, it's all on Ken Hinkley. You can't have it both ways. Maybe it's time to start questioning that Josh Carr is kind of pulling the strings right now. The transition year. Josh Carr was pulling the strings a little bit last year. Maybe he just isn't the guy for the job. Have you thought of that? Maybe he is, but maybe he's not going as well as you think he will go because he's kind of pulling strings right now. Hinkley's just kind of like smoothly going out of the role and letting Josh Carr do what he wants to do, but also being the guy there officially in charge to help out Josh Carr before he moves out of the club at the end of the year. Maybe Josh Carr isn't the right guy for the coaching role at the Port Adelaide Football Club, but they've made the succession plan public now, and they kind of had to, I guess, after all the chat about it for a year straight and not answering questions about it properly. But that was outright outrageous. Rosie was the only one that deserved his pay on the weekend. Everyone else should be embarrassed of themselves. I don't know what the hell that was. Yes, they're missing Zach Butters and a few key defenders to help their structure, but they still got Alia and Miles Bergman and Ryan Burton and guys like that can play tall defenders. So I don't want to hear the excuse. Radigalia and Zerk Thatcher are just simply not good enough for AFL level at all. They're state league level players at best. Let's be real. And Alia is an All-Australian level key position defender. Miles Bergman's a star. And, you got players around the team like Kane Farrell that are pretty good as well. But the team were outright garbage. That was embarrassing. Just outright garbage. Vote down below, who do you reckon had the worst game on the weekend? Carlton, Fremantle, Port Adelaide, St Kilda, or West Coast? Just unbelievable. Speaking of the Saints, let's now move on to Adelaide v Port Adelaide. Oh, yeah, Scott Pendlebury was the sub. I understand that. People are like, oh, why? He's never been sub before. He's played over 400 games. It's disrespectful. It's going to be his last year pretty much, all right? And they want to, ease him into the season. He'll probably not play a game here and there. I would have thought if they were going to do him as a sub, it'd be like mid part of the year towards the back end. But they've done it now. That's probably the only confusing part. Ned Long was terrific for the Pies too. 24 possessions, 12 disposals in the first half, 12 in the second half. Had a lot of meters gained and clearances and tackles and score involvements. Ned Long had a great game for the Pies. Tim Membry, superstar Timmy Membry. Great player, great man, Timmy Membry. Always wanted him to stay at the Saints. He left because St Kilda didn't offer him a contract. Stop hearing the narrative that St Kilda offered him a 1-year deal and he wanted 2. That's bullshit. He wanted a contract offer and St Kilda didn't give him one. He would have stayed. Then once Collingwood threw 2 years at him, he took it, and damn right he deserves it. St Kilda, that is the dumbest selection move they've made of recent time. The Jay Gresham one was stupid. The Jack Billings one was stupid. The Josh Battle one was kind of out of their control. But those other ones were stupid moves from the St Kilda Football Club. And they're shown on the weekend with no key forwards. They missed Timmy Membry, and he was a star. On Alira, he kicked 3 goals in the first quarter, 4 goals, 17 possessions, like 10 marks, so many score involvements. He just fits in so well with Dan McStay and Brody Myercheck and Jamie Elliott and Jack Ginnivan. Not Jack Ginnivan, Bo McCreary, and Bobby Hill as well. It just fits in straight away. Timmy Membry, the skunk, is his nickname. Timmy Membry's a star, and he will be a great asset to the Pies. My bold call was him kicking over 40-plus goals. But that's not really a bold call for me because I'm confident Timmy Membry will kick 40 goals this year, assuming, of course, he doesn't get injured. He's kicked 5 goals in 2 games. So let's see how Timmy Membry continues to go. Adelaide and St Kilda. 135 Adelaide, St Kilda 72. Adelaide by 63 points. How do I assess this game? I'm happy that we scored 72 overall with the side we had. I'm pretty surprised we scored that much. But we just leaked so much in defence. People saying, Battle's out, you're screwed now. No, it's because Dougal Howard's out and Zane Cordy's having to play there, and we're playing Shoalmaker, who shouldn't be playing as a key position defender. And then they've got Walker and Thilthorpe and Fogarty, who are strong, contested, tall forwards. So it's different, and it's hard to combat that with Howard and Wilkie and Cordy, Shoalmaker and Wilkie. Wilkie played really well. Cordy didn't do well at all. Shoalmaker, some of the Saints fans thought he did well. I didn't think he did well at all. He got beaten a little bit. Jack McRae, superstar though. 34 disposals, 250 games, 23 contested possessions, 12 clearances. A bona fide star is Jack McRae. One on Jack, the inaugural Scoops medal winner. Jack McRae, 250 games, a superstar, the inaugural Scoops medal winner for a reason. And he was in my team of the week for a reason. He was our best player. Max Hall was really good. 2 goals, 14 disposals, 6 marks in his debut. Max Hall was really, really good. I was really impressed with Max Hall's game. Hugh Boxall should play. Mitch Owens should be back this week along with Dan Butler and Max King and Liam Henry. So against Geelong this week, we need those guys back. No guarantee is Max King. It could be the week after, but potentially this week. And looks likely to be this week, but could be the week after. As for Cooper Sharman, it's apparently going to be the week after. Ross said in his presser last week, or during the week, for this week's game, he said that, for next week. Not the Geelong game, the one after, which is Richmond. But yeah, hopefully those guys can all come back in and do well. Hopefully Rowan Marshall will be better for the run. Jack Sinclair, I thought, started slow, but got into the game after quarter time and had 22 disposals and was really influential. Jack Sinclair's got to play midfield with Jack Steele, who wasn't great on the weekend, I must admit, and Jack McRae. They should be the 3 mids. Not everyone else that they want to put in there. Those should be the 3 starting mids. That's what it should be. And Rowan Marshall should be the permanent ruck. He can play forward, but like 20% forward, 80% ruck. Harry Boyd can do the 20% ruck and 80% forward if they're both in the side, especially if King and Sharman are back. Caminiti, what position on the field has he played? Maybe he does go back in the back line. I feel like Zane Cordy does better as a forward than he does defender when his main role is a defender. But he's a good kick in front of goal, Zane Cordy. He's a strong contested mark guy when he's playing up forward. And he leads really well and he just reads the space really well as a forward. maybe if King doesn't play this week, Cordy plays forward. I think that's better than him playing in the back line. And Cameron Eddy looks lost at the moment in the forward line. So, but I don't think he should be playing in the back line either. Maybe he needs a spell in the twos, but has to wait for King and Sharman to be back in for that to happen, to regain some form. But yeah, obviously we got 10 players out, which is a big reason why we lost. Not why we lost individually. You take out 3 of your top 10 draft picks in the last 2 years, Filippo, Travaglia, and Taru. The 5 forwards, we had out King, Owen, Sharman, Butler, and Henry. Then you add in Dougal Howard as well, and Paddy Dow. That's 9 or 10 plays out right there. So it doesn't help at all. We wish Paddy Dow all the best. He had an infection in his knee in the Christmas period. And the way Ross was speaking, I don't want to speculate, but it seems it's gotten worse. It's going to be a long road, to quote Ross. So, but he is confident he'll be back at some point, but doesn't look anytime soon. We wish Paddy Dow all the best. A very solid recruit from the Blues last year. And when he played, when he wasn't injured, he did really well, Paddy Dow. His brother Thompson Dow's doing well at Richmond on the weekend as well. Wish Paddy Dow all the best. We're thinking of you. Now, hopefully back out there by round 10 or so. That's my hope. That's what it sounds like. It might be around that time frame. 2 umpiring calls I want to bring up. I didn't mention it in Scoops Bangs. I wanted to leave it for this segment because I had the suspensions to worry about there. Didn't want to overload it this week with more rants. So the 15-meter rule is 15 meters. It's not 10 meters. It's not bloody 12 meters. It's 15 or more to be paid a mark. Tex Walker marked the ball when it was like 3 goals of margin in the second quarter, late in the second quarter, when we were starting to get a bit of momentum. I don't know which Adelaide player kicked it to him, but it went like 8 bloody meters. And they paid it a mark. He got a goal from it. It was rigged. Jack Sinclair had the ball 60 meters out from our goal. I don't know which one was first, but it was around the same margin as well, late in the second. Like maybe 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Jack Sinclair's about 60 meters out on the left flank, 60 meters out. Darcy Fogarty just runs straight through the mark and then goes right beside Sinclair the way of the direction he's wanting to kick the ball. So that's blatant 50. Wasn't given. That means that's a Joey the Goose out the back in the goal square goal because the AFL umpires don't know what they're doing. They would have brought it back to 2 or 3 goals and the momentum is back in our favour. Even if it was going to be a short period of time, it was in that moment. Momentum swings. The umpires like ruining momentum swings. Sure, we didn't have many good moments in the game, but that patch of the game, we were going all right in the second quarter, and we were kind of robbed a little bit in that spot. Now, the second half, we were just dreadful, but that's not the point. That part of the game, we were in it to win it, and a few umpiring calls went Adelaide's way. They got a goal out of one of them, and we got screwed of getting a goal. So that's 2 goals, basically, we were screwed out of. So in margin, so that should have been 12 points our way, which puts it to a goal or 2. And late in the second quarter, then, hey, maybe that second half doesn't happen. You know, it's just really frustrating. The umpires are a joke, especially decisions like that just ruin games. Now, Adelaide, they did play really well. Saligo, I thought he played really well. Phil Thorpe, Fogarty kicked some goals as well, but I thought Phil Thorpe was better. And Matt Crouch had 31 disposals as well in the midfield. So they're going to pretty sure he did get a goal as well in that third quarter as well when they were running rampant. Right. Melbourne and GWS 74, Melbourne, GWS 77, Giants by 3 points. Credit to the Giants and Demons. Demons, not many people thought they would win. I mean, it was in Melbourne, so you give them a chance in the MCG. The Giants just smashed the Pies last week, who just smashed the Power the night before. I thought the Giants played really well, but credit to Melbourne. They were with GWS and were in front for a lot of the game, in the middle part of the game. The Giants, Toby Green, Finn Callahan, and Lockie Keefe, the hero at the end, got them the win. Credit to Melbourne for staying in there, but honourable losses shouldn't be something you should be accepting for a club that has only played finals recently, and they've got to stop making excuses about how many debutants they had. They were only missing Stephen May, so there's no excuses for Melbourne to say it's an honourable loss and you just accept losses, because a good side doesn't accept honourable losses. But they played really well in this game. though. Petrarca and Max Gordon were their two best players. As for the Giants, Callahan, Toby Green, Tom Green, Sam Taylor, Connor Iden, Harry Himmelberg were all awesome. Toby Green, Tom Green, as I said. So the last game, West Coast and Gold Coast, absolutely shit with the Eagles, 49, Gold Coast 136. Gold Coast by 87 points and their biggest win in their club's history. Credit to the Gold Coast Suns. The Eagles were woeful. Liam Baker was really good in his Eagles debut, 21 disposals. I thought Elijah Hewitt, the longer the game went, did really well with about 12 disposals, playing mainly up forward and a little bit in the midfield. Adam Simpson was on the call, spoke a lot about Elijah Hewitt in high praise, as he was obviously his coach. Hasn't played an AFL game for 2 years through a lot of bad foot injuries and everything like that. But it's great to see Elijah Hewitt back out there for the Eagles. He's a good midfielder. He's only 21, turning 22 soon, I think. So he'll be a good one for the future for the Eagles in the midfield in particular. He's got a good kick on him, according to Simo as well. Suns, Ben Long was good, kicking 4 goals. Jared Witt, 63-odd hit-outs, was phenomenal. Ben King, 6 goals, was awesome. Took Miller, Noah Anderson and Matt Rowell were dominant in the midfield. So Harley Reid, has he checked out? Some people say. I think that's laughable to an extent. Hasn't checked out. Like, seriously. It's round 1, for God's sake. Seeing Kane Corns or someone saying that. It's just laughable. David King, it might have been, sorry, but regardless, it's laughable. And then Kane Corns said something ridiculous about Adelaide saying they're going to make the top 4. Good joke, buddy. Far out, Jesus Christ. Talk about unrealistic, stupid calls. There's one right there. But yeah, West Coast were garbage. Absolutely disgraceful. Jeremy McGovern needs some support down that back line, but Tom Barras left, and that's going to put Jeremy McGovern, the veteran key defender's job, even harder if they're going to dish out shit like that every week and have no support at all. Brady Hoff, we go on for the future that Simo was really bullish on as well. And I like Brady Hoff as well. I think he's a good player as well, but he's not your key position defender. He's more your medium-sized defender, your 3rd tall, 4th tall. But they're going to need to recruit another one in the trade period. Matt always had some moments in the game where he did really well, in particular late in the game. Jack Graham, I thought, was really serviceable as well. And obviously, as I just mentioned, Liam Baker was their best player from Richmond. Almost got a goal late. Would have been nice. 101 Supercoach points, which I'm really happy with for Liam Baker. All right, now let's go preview the round 2 games to wrap us up this evening. Hope you all have enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe if you haven't already and turn on the bell for all notifications. Right, let's go through my tips for round 2, sorry. Thursday night at the MCG, 7:30 Victorian time. Every time I say will be Victorian time, by the way. 7:30 Thursday night at the MCG. It's Carlton hosting Hawthorn. I will be going Hawthorn in this one by 27 points. Friday night at the MCG also, it is the Western Bulldogs hosting Collingwood. 740 at the MCG. I believe this is the Western Bulldogs milestone game in their 100th year. So they're going to lose to the Pies by 37 points. The next game to go through shall be, where are we? Saturday, 1:20 the MCG. It's Essendon hosting Adelaide. I'll be going for the Crows in this one by 17 points. Saturday, 4:15 at Adelaide Oval. It's Port Adelaide hosting Richmond. I'll go for Port Adelaide in this one by 26 points. If they lose this, wow, Josh Carr cannot be the coach going forward. See, he's definitely pulling the strings right now. 7:35 p.m. at Marvel Stadium. It's my Saints hosting Geelong. Now, the Saints have won the last 3 encounters at Marvel Stadium. We beat Geelong to knock them out of the finals and make finals ourselves. That vlog I did was the best vlog I'd ever done or got to film, as we knocked Geelong, my most hated team, out of the finals race, made ours in the process, and Rowan Marshall kicked a great goal from the boundary to seal the game. That was already sealed, but the icing on the St Kilda cake. I'm going the Saints in this one by 1 point. On Sunday, 1:10 at the Gabba, Brisbane hosting West Coast. I'm going for Brisbane in this one by 67 points. Sunday, 3:20 at Marble Stadium. It's North Melbourne hosting Melbourne. I'll go for Melbourne in this one by 26 points. And Fremantle v Sydney at Optus Stadium, 6:10. I am going to go for Sydney to win this one by 12 points. I know Sydney have lost 2 games, but the carry on about them not, doing well. They lost 2 close games, for God's sake, against Hawthorn and Brisbane, 2 sides that made finals last year, and Brisbane were the premiers. Hope you all enjoyed this episode of Kick It to Scoops. Let me know any segment ideas you may potentially want to see on the show. But until the next episode, have a good one. And the next video, take care. The most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints, and of course, acknowledge me, the one Yeet. And I am Scoops, your tribal chief. Yeet. Acknowledge me, the one.